So harmful natural sweeteners include sucrose, lactose, maltose, glucose, fructose, coconut, palm sugar, honey, molasses. They're all sugar. They're all sugar. High fructose corn syrup. Agave nectar is even worse because it's got even more. And then, of course, we've got the unnatural ones: Equal, NutraSweet, Splenda, sucralose, saccharin, AminoSweet, neotame, and a couple of others, which there's a beautiful set of movies on just how bad sugar is, and there's a beautiful set of movies on just how bad NutraSweet is that I'm going to give you those so you can take a look at them if you want to buy them and watch them. The good ones are stevia, which is probably the single most mispronounced word in the health food store because everybody pronounces it stevia. But since it's a botanical and it's named after the Stevia rebaudiana plant, it is actually stevia. But however you pronounce it, it's still a healthy sweetener. Yacon syrup, which is made out of a root that's similar to the Jerusalem artichoke, is filled with no starch. It's got a soluble sweetener, which is all fiber, which your body can't utilize, although it feeds your good bacteria, so it's very good for you. Lohan is a Chinese fruit that has inulin in it, which is another sweetener the body can't use, so it tastes sweet, but it's basically a soluble fiber, which is the extract from monk fruit. Xylitol and erythritol are the two of the healthier sugar alcohols. We used to have maltitol and sorbitol. They're still out there in the diabetic and dietetic candies, but they cause massive GI problems and loose stool very rapidly. Xylitol and erythritol cause it less often, and if the amount that you are consuming of xylitol and erythritol is low enough that it causes you no problems, then those are okay for you. This is the reason that we don't want to use the word carbohydrate when we're discussing things with anybody, because everything on here is a carbohydrate. So if sugar is a carbohydrate, and grains and beans are a carbohydrate, and lettuce and celery and Brussels sprouts are a carbohydrate, then please tell me when you tell somebody that you want to eat more or less carbs, what did you just say? Essential for all tissue repair, not taught in medical school, where drugs are king. Lied about in dietetics programs. It's in your food. Totally covered up by the drug advertisements. All vitamins are essential by definition, or they can't be classified as a vitamin. A nutrient cannot be called a vitamin if it hasn't been shown to cause a deficiency disease and be essential. Essential fatty acids are essential, or they don't get called essential. Essential amino acids are required. Your body can't make them, or those don't get called essential. So there are a whole bunch of things that we need in doses required for adequate healing, proper heartbeat, correct immune function, etc. And only the best and most knowledgeable nutrition professionals even understand how much we can improve the results we get by bringing these things in. So, a good probiotic, very often important. We now know that 70% of your immune system, was at 50% 10 years ago, now it's at 70%, is in your gut. And so if we can bring the good bacteria up, that makes a big, big difference. HLC high potency happens to be one of my favorite products. I have a lot of people on it. It's manufactured by Pharmax in the United Kingdom, but it's available in the United States. And a delicious smoothie would be a really good way, if it was done once a day, even every day, to get a lot of this stuff into a diet of a family or a hospital or a retirement complex or a geriatric unit, because you can make it delicious. You know, there are bunches of different ways to do it. I mean, I use raw milk. That's another discussion. You might go to my website, click on the MP3 that says the science behind raw milk, because raw milk is really what milk should be, and our pasteurized milk is causing a lot of problems. But that's an hour talk. But that's what goes in my smoothie, and then it gets organic wild blueberries. Wild blueberries are a fifth the size of regular blueberries, and when you cut them in half and open them up, the inside is the same color as the outside. That's because it's got 400% more nutrients. All the other organic blueberries, you cut them, the outside has got the nice dark purple color, the inside is either white or light green. That's because they bred them to be bigger, and they don't give a darn about the nutrients. They never care about the requirements for the animals eating their product. They only care that it looks good. This is a chart from the Vitamin D Research Council. Their chart was like 7 years old. I said, Carol Bagerly is the head of the council. I said, I need a new chart. She said, I'm sorry, David, that's not on our priority list. We're doing all sorts of other different things. I said, I lecture to doctors all over the country, and your chart is too old, and you've got 20 research studies that have come out before that. All right, we'll move it on the front burner. So I don't even know if they have the chart on their website corrected yet, but they made me up a new chart a couple of years ago. So you can just take a look at how many different things here you're looking at. So for example, all cancers combined, 77% reduction if your vitamin D level is 40 or above. They say with calcium, that's because the study had calcium in it. I disagree with its necessity for that because calcium is now being shown to be a major heart disease risk factor because people are taking too much calcium. And that's because they're low in D, magnesium, silica, and vitamin K, and so it's being thrown into your blood vessels instead of thrown into your bones. 80% reduction in stress fractures if your level is 52 and above. 80% reduction in multiple sclerosis if your level is 50 and above. Gee, might we all want those reductions? So since they haven't found any issues until they get way up to 150 or 200, I get really conservative. I want to make sure that all of my patients and my family has all of these reductions as high as they go, and maybe some of them will come out a little bit later to be higher. And so I want 55 to 80, which will cause no problems in anybody, and will make sure you're at the highest reduction level. I teach my patients which are the healthiest of everything. I give them the right bean chips, the right sweeteners, the zero-starch noodles. My patients have to watch a 3-hour video on healthy eating practices. All these various different things. Never underestimate how much certain patients will be willing to do. You don't know. You can't just say, oh, they're not going to do this stuff. Many of them won't. We need to eat well. We need to learn to relax and enjoy life to its fullest, which sometimes cats can do a lot better than people. Those are my girls. They'll be 10 years old tomorrow. And it was real interesting. I mean, I was working on a presentation 6 months ago, and I had their picture on the screen, and the two of them jump up, and they're look. I go, okay, I'm going to take a picture of that. So I thought that was really, really cool, and I will be happy to answer any questions I can.
David Getoff, ladies and gentlemen.